Welcome back. Now, Namibia's constitution remains a cornerstone of our democracy, safeguarding the rights, freedoms, and responsibilities of every citizen. Each year, the Constitution Day offers an important moment to reflect on these values and to strengthen public understanding of the supreme law of the land. Now, this year marks the 36th Constitution Day celebration, which will be commemorated under the theme My Rights, My Constitution. Now, the Office of the Ombudsman will be hosting this important event, bringing together learners, educators, and the wider communities to raise awareness about the constitutional rights and responsibilities. Now, to share more details about the commemoration, what the public can expect, and why this day remains significant for Namibia, we're joined via telephone by the Chief of the Office in the Office of the Ombudsman, Advocate Ingrid Hassaman. Good morning, ma'am, and thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning.
Good morning, Lot. I'm happy to speak to you.
Now, ma'am, let's talk about the significance of this day, commemorating Constitutional Day, and why it remains to be an important day for Namibia to reflect on this day each and every year.
Yes, Lot. Constitution Day is a reminder of the values that bind us as a Namibian nation, the values of human dignity, of equality, of freedom, and of the rule of law. We have to reflect in order to remember how far we've come, because we come from a place of colonialism, racism, and apartheid. But we also need to ask ourselves, where do we fall short? And so we intend to encourage citizens to understand both their rights and their responsibilities and to actively participate to strengthen our democracy.
Now, this year marks the 36th Constitution Day celebration. One theme, we talked about the theme that has been chosen. What does this theme try to bring, and what message does it seek to convey to the public?
So the theme, My Rights, My Constitution, is intentionally a very simplistic one, and it is to encourage personal ownership. The Constitution belongs to every single Namibian, including children and young people. So it affirms this idea that the Constitution is not just words on paper that is reserved for lawyers or for court, but it's real protections that affect people in their everyday lives, children in school, in home, in communities, and specifically in the area of public service and how that public service is delivered.
Brilliant. Now, can you talk to us more about this planned commemoration and what activities are expected to take place? We did mention that you're expecting that is to host learners as well as experts, and as well as educators and the wider community in terms of participation.
So every year, the Office of the Ombudsman, through the Children's Advocate, hosts a poetry competition among school children, and we hosted in a different region. So this year we are in the Konene region, and we will be hosting an event at Opuo Primary School where we will announce the winner of the poetry competition, and we will be listening to the children and engaging with them in an attempt to make the Constitution more accessible and meaningful to them.
Now, why is it important for institutions like the Office of the Ombudsman to take a leading role in promoting constitutional awareness?
Because the Ombudsman is created by the Constitution in Chapter 10. And the purpose of the Ombudsman is to promote and to protect human rights. So constitutional awareness is basically very central to our mandate, because we believe that when people know and understand their rights, it puts them in a position of power to prevent violations by speaking up, by demonstrating, by protesting, by demanding accountability, and by accessing remedy through the court system. So awareness strengthens trust in public institutions and also the Ombudsman. And what we're basically trying to do is to build a culture of constitutionalism in Namibia.
Indeed. Now, many young people may not fully understand their constitutional rights. What does this initiative, of the Office of the Ombudsman, have in place? Perhaps this initiative that when you are commemorating Constitutional Day, and also other initiatives that you have in place that aim to educate learners and youth about their constitutional rights.
One of the major things that we do is we engage the Ministry of Education to make sure that they are implementing a human rights-based school curriculum, because we did a survey with children a couple of years back, and we found that children actually do learn about human rights and about the Constitution at school. But from our side, we also from time to time run school outreach programs. We also have community education sessions, and we run child-friendly media campaigns on radio, television, and social media to make sure that human rights education is delivered in an age-appropriate and accessible manner to children.
Indeed. Now, in your view, what are some of the most common misconceptions Namibians have about their rights and responsibilities under the Namibian Constitution?
Lot, I think one of the most common misconception is that people think that rights are absolute and that they can be exercised without limitations or any regard for others. But the truth is that rights always come with responsibilities, and they must be exercised within the ambit of the law. The other misconception is that people, especially young people, think that the Constitution is something that only lawyers in the courts can engage with. But the fact is that everyone has a role in upholding constitutional values and democracy by showing respect for others, being tolerant, and by complying with the law.
Now, how does the Office of the Ombudsman handle cases where citizens feel their constitutional rights may have been violated?
So the Ombudsman stands for independent and impartial and confidential handling of complaints. So we believe in accessibility, and for that reason, people can lodge complaints free of charge in a variety of ways through our website, our social media pages, telephone, emails, walking into our office, and then we will assess the complaint. We will determine whether or not it falls within our jurisdiction. And if it does, we will investigate and engage the relevant authorities to seek a remedy for the person whose rights have been violated. We can also make recommendations to seek corrective action. And if that fails, then we can pursue further legal avenues like going to court or filing a report with Parliament.
Now, finally, what message would you like to share with Namibians, especially young people, as a country commemorates the 36th Constitutional Day?
To remember that the Constitution is yours. It's yours to know, it's yours to respect, and it's yours to use as a tool to shape a just and inclusive Namibia that celebrates the diversity of everyone who lives in this beautiful country. Your voice matters. Let us remember the past so that we never go back there, but let us also shape and empower the next generation to protect democracy and human rights for the future.
Indeed. Well, Ingrid Hasselman, thank you so much for making time to speak to us this morning, and wish you all the best with preparations as you commemorate Constitutional Day.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.